Hi, Corrie Thorne, spiritual healer. Coming in to do a um I don't know what this is today. I don't know if this channel message. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to trust this. I've been on the sixth recording today, and every time I break down, I lose my shit. I fall apart. So I'm going to just trust whatever this one may be for today and where it may come from. I'm just going to channel this through in the best way that I can. Today is being recorded on Good Friday. I have a lot of mixed feelings and a lot of hurt in my heart as I sit here today. And I find myself feeling the sense of being frustrated. And and I really want to let my human speak some truth that is, I don't know if those are the right words to say right now or how to say them, but um I don't want to use the I don't want to lose this opportunity in this moment and also honor me in this moment and my relationship to Jesus. And so I had wrote a blog about I have weathered the storms, um and it came down to, these questions that I get asked over and over, and how there's no magical answers, and how did I let go of the past, and how did I learn to love myself? Well, I can honestly say in this very moment on a Good Friday that I don't think I ever really let go of the past. I don't think I live in the past. I think I'm a product of the past, as are we all. We're a product of what we experience in this world, and we're a product of this life. We are programmed, we are conditioned, and we are led to believe a lot of stories and fear, and and we fight and argue over these things all the time. And we work so hard on this thing called forgiveness because we have been conditioned to believe we are enemies, and we're conditioned to believe these motives and manipulate. And my last video that I did about this was about the web and come together. And when I look at this day being a day of a innocent man being crucified, I look at how much we have witnessed in the world of innocent people being crucified for views and thoughts that are different, about walking away or walking into a way or a journey into the unknown and not knowing. And I often you often will hear me say, if I could, you know, try to place my gaze upon anyone to lead my life, it's lead like Jesus. Is that I listened to these books while walking that I never heard of, that I found, and they were audio, and it was lead like Jesus. So I said I did a lot of training and learning about Jesus, but I learned in learning about Jesus, I learned there's a lot of human ego. There's a lot of human views, opinions, and our world is based on opinions and views. And now that we have social media and we have all those things, everyone has an opinion, everyone has a view. And I don't want to have an opinion or a view. Um, I have my truth that I live in. And so when I was asked to ask these questions and talked about doing a podcast around these questions, I started to feel my truth. And so when people ask me about how I healed or how I moved past the past, I didn't. Um, I didn't. And do I know, am I in a place of self-love right now? I don't think so. I don't think so. I have not moved past the past. I don't live in the past, but I live with the past. And a big part of that is if one thing that is what I've gotten from the past and what I've learned from the past. And I've really been working on this deprogramming from these fear stories. And as I found my way working through the biblical stories and how these cycles and creations and how everything is recycled and happens again and again, is that we see the same freaking bad behavior. We see the same ego. We see the same fear. And whether it's male, whether it's female, we see it. We instill it in our children. We instill it in our lives. Don't bark. And we see it in our lives, and we see it everywhere. And if I could be anyone, and I speak about it often, often hear me say it. If I could be anyone, I would choose to be the man on the cross and the people that stood around and made it okay and acceptable, or the people that made the choice and decision to put him on the cross. Those people that made the choice and decision that put him on the cross wore cloaks and wore titles and wore labels that said that we have to protect what we have at all cost, and we have to do the right thing for the right reason for the people, and we can't have this man ruin and destroy our 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 sanctuary, our church, our way that we see it, and we see it everywhere. A few weeks ago, Sid, a few weeks ago, I found myself under attack again, and it was about great, all we need is more witches in the world. And in my mind, I thought, great, all we need is more people in the world who are going to crucify more humans or that are willing to burn people with words, thoughts, actions, um, just because we may be a little bit different or because we have a different view. So when I see people using these moments and these times to speak about um, becoming unconditional, I don't think we understand what unconditional love really means. I really don't. I think we can use it in the ability, we can use it in a time that is serving us and our soul and our purpose and to build our business or to get people to follow us. But I don't think we can fully understand that until until we are really ready to let go of any form of using your platform, who we are, our voice, and deprogramming. And so a lot of my work more than existing has been based around that is I don't get to decide for somebody. I'm not going to I'm not going to tell you what to believe in or what not to believe in. I've lost people who followed me. I've lost work over my work with Jesus. I've lost people over the fact that I'm not Jesus enough or I'm not religious enough or whatever it may be. It's like, and there's a lot of things that have hurt my heart. But it also talked about, so when I was doing this work today, is that I find myself looking at these statements and these questions, and I'm going to go through this, is that there was simple ways that I've learned to let go of what held me hostage to the past, not let go of the past. I found ways of letting go of what held me hostage to the past. I have learned about what it means to love the person that I am today. Or well, I don't know if I love this person because I feel like I just woke up as her today. To accept the person that I was of the past. So it's all about being able to acceptance. It's acceptance. And if we can learn to accept, if we can learn to accept each other for where we are, for where we have been, if we stop placing such judgment, such harshness, if we stop crucifying people because we have a different view, a different thought, if we stop doing these things to each other, we have a chance. And we have a chance with humanity. So as I look at life and I look at where we've been, these are the things that I wrote. And I'm going to give a little bit of a description with these, and I'm going to trust that these will unfold where they need to. But I'm going to use a card to go with this first. And this card just came kind of falling out. So this card is 11. This card is 11. It's from my deck of the Everyday Goddess Oracles. It is temptation, unity. And we are so tempted to break away, to fall away, to judge, we're so tempted to lose ourselves. And temptation for me don't mean that you're, you know, all about you're tempted to do something bad, but it is about tempted to do something wrong. And so we can be so tempted to lose ourselves to do something that is wrong for us, not true to our soul. This card's created all of one thread, one soul, and we are all one thread. We are all one connection. We are all one, and we truly are. And but we create these segregations and these identities, and we want to be identified. We want to be somebody. We want to be somebody special. We want to be able to say the right words, do the right thing. There was no freaking right words for the things that have happened in the past. There's no right words. There's no right to a reason why we put a man on a cross. So whether you're the man who put the man on the cross or you're the person that makes up the story of why this happened or why we have that creation, there is no right reason why anybody should have ever been placed on a cross and had his hands nailed on. There's no right reasons of why a woman who did not want to conform to a certain way, why she should have been burned. That was a woman. That was a man. These were humans. These were humans. And so our whole sense of self and who we are is we have a whole lot of self-righteousness and we have a whole lot of the need of why I should be the important one or why I should be valued. And we have a whole lot that we need to be able to accept in order to let go that we've done a whole lot wrong in this world. We do a whole lot wrong as of today. We're still doing a whole lot wrong. That we have lost a sense of dignity for humanity. And I speak about it. I just wrote a whole book about the way home. And I'm so glad I've stayed till the end. I'm still here. I'm so thankful. But the fact that we stood that we stand by and we stand in that truth is that when we look at these times and where we have been, it is time for us to break these freaking cycles. It's time for us to stop today on this Good Friday. Today on this day is a day for us to really look at our own actions, our own behaviors, our own places where we are still placing judgment. We are still doing those things. And we look at it on a deeper level because to do the things to be able to set ourselves free is that we have to do the hardest things for the right reasons. And the hardest thing sometimes is to be able to walk away without saying something. It is to be able to accept that somebody is not going to be in agreement with you. It is to be able to accept that in order to make changes is that we'll have to make that in order to bring about a new world, a new life, is that we have to do a whole lot different than we did in the past. And we're not right now doing anything any different than we did in the past. So, first and foremost, I would like to say that the way that I found my way to letting go of the past or finding this so called love stuff is that I would like to say that I had to find the why. But no, I had to get angry. And so I have found myself becoming very angry lately, and not angry at anyone in the world, angry, love angry, that a sense, a core to my soul self has been crying out to me and saying, you can feel the pain, you live in pain, you know what pain is, and this is not okay. And that where we are is not okay. I had to get angry with the pain and I had to get tired. And the anger with the pain is I had to get angry with the pain that I see in the world, and I had to get tired of listening. I had to get tired of experiencing and witnessing everybody creating a story and telling a story of how this is acceptable, why it's so acceptable to turn our eye, to turn our hearts away from our neighbors, to find ourselves like saying, it's okay, I'm creating those boundaries, and it's okay for me to say that I can run down, I can, you know, let somebody, I can turn my back on people so easily. There's a lot of things. And I'm just like, I don't have words. I don't know my words right now. I'm at such a loss. But I had to get this loving anger. And so I felt an anger that was not a frustration, but a desire to not become anyone. And in my heart, in my soul today, I can honestly say that I don't want to be anybody. I don't want to be an anybody. I don't want to be nobody in particular. I want to follow the light and the energy of Jesus. I don't want to have to be conformed to a religion. I don't want to have to be this so-called conformed to spirituality. I don't want to be if I have to be in a group and I have to say that I have one view or another view just to be a part of it. I don't want to have to sit and say that I can't stand Donald Trump or I can't stand Justin Trudeau. I don't want to be that person because I'm not that person. I'm not the person who can say, I don't know them personally. So when anyone would ask me how I feel about people, I say, well, I don't know them. I can't tell you how I feel about them. I don't know them. I don't know these people. I don't know who they are. So I can't put them on the cross and crucify people that I do not know and want people to have their whole families and their whole lives destroyed because we have a difference of opinion, difference of thoughts. I don't know these people. So and I can honestly say that if I want to be in unconditional love towards them, then I'm going to have to accept them for who they are. And you're going to have to accept who they are. And everybody is placed in their invocation. And I had that post up on my vision board forever that was from Mother Teresa. Where we are placed is our invocation. We are chosen and we are chosen to be there for a reason. It doesn't mean it's a good reason, bad reason, we don't know, but there's a why to why we are placed there. And we are placed there for a reason. And that's a truth. And that's a truth. And so our invocation, so in my book, and I write about this and I've coined it, I have copywritten this, that the bookmark of us, where we are, you are the bookmark. And the bookmark is that it gives you an opportunity. In that opportunity, we have an opportunity. So did I let go of the past? No. But my invocation is to be the spiritual healer who is placed right here today. Who I am right here in this moment gives me an opportunity to look at the past, to look at where we have been, and say, can I pick out the golden nuggets of this? What can I see of this that I don't want to bring forward into my future, that I don't want to see us recreate and to relive again? And that is crucifixion, to crucify my neighbor, to crucify anybody, to place anybody there, to place that strong of a judgment upon somebody for people that I don't know. I don't want to see another woman or another man who's called a witch to be placed up and burnt because they are to be feared, because somebody creates a story of fear around it. I don't want to be the person who throws the stone. I don't want to be that person in my life ever again. I don't want to be her. I don't want to be the person who lives with pain in my body and pain in my heart and pain in my mind, trying to be a somebody. I don't want to be the person who has to be right. I want to be the person who gets to live in this world that is here to understand that we have to learn about love, that we know that we left behind our truest of self the moment we arrived, and we were conditioned. And we were conditioned by our parents, by schools, by education systems, by everything, by society, by a world, and we are defined, and we are being built upon a foundation of fear. And the reason why it keeps cracking and falling apart is because we have such a weak foundation, and we're trying to build empires on weak foundations. We have a world that looks like adults that are emotionally and spiritually immature and don't have the maturity or the acceptance to know that when someone we don't agree with speaks up, that we don't have to react and respond in the way that we lose all of our core self and who we are, if that's who I have to be. And when I have to look at, when someone say, who are you becoming, and trying to be a somebody, I am a somebody to somebody. I'm a someone to I am a someone who has value and worth to somebody in my life, and that would be the people who know my truth, that sit with me, my daughter, my granddaughter. And as I sat with my granddaughter yesterday, and I looked at the innocence, and I looked at that sense of who she knows, who she is, and how she had strangers sitting behind her, and she was dancing for them, and she was making noises, and she was just saying, like, just look at me and laugh, just smile. You're in a serious business conversation over there, but look up. And it's, we look at life, we're not looking up. We are caught in life, we're caught in reality, we're caught in this so-called reality that's our new reality that we're supposed to live in. We're caught in social media, we're caught in those places, and we're not looking up. We are not looking into the eyes with love and compassion for each other. We have hate, we have judgment, we have all of these things. And so what I found myself was, I had no feelings left in my body, and we've become numb, and we've become numb as a world and society. And we've used these times and situations as a way to, not to inspire people, but to cause people fear, to be in, to be influenced by fear, to follow a faith, to be faithful to something. But by being faithful to something else, what parts of you do you lose? How much of you do you lose? I don't want people to lose themselves to follow me. I want people to know that they can be true to me, that they can be true to themselves, and not have to be, not have to lose themselves to be in my company, that we can have a different view, we can have a different opinion. And whatever you believe in, I will respect that. And doesn't mean that I have to believe in it. It doesn't mean I have to believe in it. And it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And how we're going to show up in the world is that we get that respect and dignity. I don't care about I don't care about anything anymore, is what I felt for so long. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care what the world thinks. I do care. But it's not what I care what people think of me. I care that we have to start caring. I want us to care. I want us to love. I want us to understand the power of love. I want us to understand the power of God. I want us to understand that we don't have so much power as what we think we have. I want us to know that, look at the past. If you can be if we wipe out the past, we can't look back at the past and see these things to use them as a guide to be able to lead us forward. We need something to be able to be a meter stick, a guide to show us, but not to have distance between each other, of why we should come closer together, so that we don't do it again, so we don't repeat these things. I had, I don't want to make it okay to have the emotional insecurities of others laid up on me as if it's my responsibility. It wasn't Jesus's responsibility to hold the world. As we don't lay it all onto him. It is our responsibility. We are supposed to bring it home to us. And so when we look at life, and we look at where we have been and where we're going, that we have the opportunity to not be programmed by fear, but to start to understand honesty and integrity of truth comes from when we look at the excuses that we make and the harsh words that we use towards another. Um, that we don't say, "Oh, they don't mean it." They do mean it, but it doesn't mean they need to be punished to a certain degree that we take somebody else's life for it, that we destroy somebody else's life for it, that we look at life in a different way, and that we really realize there's no magical fix. There's no real key to where we've been a lifetime going through this. We've been a lifetime doing this. And we keep saying, oh, it's for the highest good of God. It's for the highest good of to the soul, return to the soul. It's like none of that world needed us. None. Soul self doesn't need us. The spirit world doesn't need us. That world doesn't need us. We are here to find peace and contentment. We're here to stop allowing ourselves to live in the stories of betrayal, abandonment, the narcissistic tendencies that are upon our humans, to stop blaming each other for what we are doing to ourselves, to start to speak a truth that speaks beyond that that false imposter light energy. We have so much more to give. We have so much more in this world that needs to be spoken and said. That when we look at deprogramming, I step back and I look at my life and the energy invested into the words that I created, into the entities of words that were conditioned upon me, into the deep thought that it would take to start to learn to question what is love? Because the same people that put Jesus up on a cross, they did it out of love. They did it out of their sense of love of power, love of their establishments, love to be in charge. And the same people that wept on the bottom, or not the same people, the people that wept on the bottom watching this wrong happen, wept out of love for the man on there. So, what is love? What is love? To go deep. So, it's been based on, love mostly in life has been based upon expectations and happiness of achieving any desired outcome. And so that's not unconditional. If love has been based on expectations and getting our way to be able to have our own personal happiness, and that is that achieving a desired outcome, then I question happiness. I question love. I start to really realize that everything I may have been witness has been this motive to manipulate a thought, a reaction, an outcome, to instill this sense of loving out of fear. And I don't want to love out of fear. I want it to start to reject an old truth and to start to look deeper, to start to find deeper. That if it's beyond the word love, if we look beyond the word love, we have a feeling. Does this feel right? Does this connect to me? Does this make me feel comfortable? Does this really make me feel happy, or is this making me feel comfortable? After those decisions, there was a lot of regret. And so, if regret is there and you're trying to justify your regret or you're trying to justify your actions, you're living with a lot of regret. Why do it? So, if we stop acting and speaking out of that impulsiveness, if we not be so impulsive, if we stop to sit, to understand, to listen, that we can return integrity and dignity into this world. Um, it would be to be in a loving relationship. Wouldn't it be just wonderful if we could just stop and we could just look at each other and just say, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in you and your story. I'm interested in honesty. I'm interested in truth. I'm interested in knowing more. I'm interested in discovering. I'm interested in being able to speak my truth. There's so much there to be said. There's so many things that are laying out here because the ego and the shadow is still running the world and running life. We have a lot. And in those that I spoke of even earlier, And those that I speak of in self, do they really know themselves? Do we know ourselves? Do we all see what we're doing? If we can start to accept that we've done a lot wrong and that this world has not been running from, this world has been running on egos and shadows, and that acceptance is what's going to take us to a place of starting to rebuild a structure. To get to the authentic self is that we cannot contaminate a truth. We cannot spread fear. We cannot be exploding the mind with triggers and fearing the world. We cannot keep trying to hide our truths or our scars, that we can let it all be out. If you speak a truth and you say, I am the person who is in this role, but this is my motives. This is what I'm doing. And I'm doing this because I think it's right. And because I think this is what will be of service, then you give people the opportunity to choose for themselves whether or not they're going to follow you. Every lie we tell leads to another lie that we have to cover up or that we have to justify and explain. If you just speak your truth, if you just say what you're doing, if you just say why you're doing it, you give people the opportunity to follow. And people that don't follow, you will have to accept that they're not following you because it's not aligning to them. And that's the truth. So today and every day, take a good look at why it's so important to speak a truth. Why it's so important to be the bookmark in this moment, to look back in the past and think, what of the past has not served us? And that past can be a defining moment that can help you to create your newest future, to help you create a new future, a new beautiful future that can help you move forward with love and light. And I hope some way, some today that this serves you and it helps you. And I hope in some way this is of service to you today. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for sticking this out. And if you can be anyone today, choose to be the man on the cross. Don't choose to be the man who put him there. Choose to be the man on the cross. That's the start to loving yourself. Choose to lead that way. Choose to live that way. And that will be the beginning of something more wonderful in your life. Because remember, his world was open to all. Much love. Thank you for being with me. Have a beautiful day.